can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What's going on, everybody? Body. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and of course, you guys, as always, are my co-hosts along with your class. And let's just talk a little bit of politics. More politics than wellness, but we can all get it together. Hey, okay, thank you so much. And as always, welcome Patty Duke, Keisha. Haven't seen you in a while. It is nice to see you. It is always great to see you. Hey, Smart Show, how you doing, Pastor Nate? What's going on, Brother Nate? How are you? Hopefully, all of the mothers in the balcony as well as in the chat had a wonderful and beautiful Mother's Day. Mother's Day is always bittersweet for me, but I still tried to enjoy it and kind of be in the moment, but definitely hoping that all of you had a very blessed Mother's Day and and you really felt the love. So again, here we go into some more political mess, and it's a whole lot. So I'll be running and jumping and leaping, and it's a ton going on. But a few things we will touch upon. Hey, BB, nice, how you doing? A few things we will touch upon is the group Move. They were a group of Black women and men and some children back in Philadelphia back in the 1980s, the early 80s, when I was just a little one. And basically what the city of Philadelphia did, the police came and basically bombed their area, killing 11 people. And there was I forgot the name of the documentary, but there is a documentary talking about the Move organization. It's actually a son of one of the members who was trying to get his mother and father released from prison. And he was able to accomplish that. I think they all were released, actually. I don't think no one died behind bars. They were all released. It's a great documentary. If I think of the name of it, I will definitely drop it or leave it on my community wall. But it's definitely a good documentary to check out. It's about the Move organization. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about some Ivy League schools using body parts, but I'm not surprised about that. We'll be talking about some modern slavery that I didn't hear anything about, and thank you, Nate, for actually sending me that article, which was quite depressing. We're going to talk about some updates in the case of Breonna Taylor, and we're also going to talk about an update in Ahmaud Arbery's case. All right, so get yourselves together. I do have to grab the rest of my notes, so I'm just going to hit this little old 30 button that everybody likes to press on. And when I get back, we'll get started because I thought I had them all, but I don't. All right. Okay, let's get right into it, right? So let's do with the updates first, because the updates are far more important to me, because these cases need to see the light of day always until all the people receive justice. So what really just came across, like literally across the screen not too long ago, in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Remember the three Mayonnaise Coalition who call themselves protecting their neighbor's house he was building. who shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery, and then tried to, or basically trying to paint it as if they were doing the community a service, because there always has been so many burglaries or break-ins when they're allowed to kill us in neighborhoods that they don't believe we should be in. Right now, the three gentlemen who are facing trial or soon to face trial for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery have pleaded not guilty to the federal hate crime that was put upon them by the new DOJ. Now, what does all this mean? Actually, the state of Georgia. Now, this is why I say, and I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face, people. So please listen. This is why and please hit the like button, please. Thank you, we appreciate it. But this is why I say it's very important that we vote, and we have to be mindful of who we allow in, especially in our state, elections and all of that, because the state of Georgia has now reintroduced a civil war law that was enacted during the Civil War, where basically civilians could arrest people. And so the local government of Georgia, who happens to be majority Republican, just reintroduced this bill into law right now, which is giving the right to civilians to arrest people if they deem them to be somewhat of a suspect or anything of that nature. This, of course, bringing light to what has just happened, not just happened, but what these three clowns are facing, and kind of giving them an out. Of course, I'm sure, a lot of people have been watching what would have happened with the state of the former police officer who killed George Floyd. And then from that verdict, everybody is kind of playing, okay, let's put some safety rails in place. So the one safety rail that this case has now is this law of citizens arresting other citizens. Now, from the video I saw, I did not see any kind of arrest happen. I didn't see any kind of detained situation upon calling the police. I saw people armed to the T with guns, ready to shoot and kill, period, and ask questions later. So how they're going to spin this, I don't know, but that will be interesting to see. So that's the update on that. Another update as well, in the case of Breonna Taylor, there has been a probe into the case, of course, by, again, the Justice Department of these United States, basically probing into the fact that there was no reason for them to have guns to go to Breonna's place in her dwelling in the first place. I will stand by what I said and what my assessment is, and that is truly that it was a robbery gone wrong. Then people were supposed to go in there and rob her because they've been watching her ex-boyfriend and listening to his conversations. And he's been talking about all this big money he's dealing, all these big drug deals he had going on. So they just assumed that she had a boatload of either cash or drugs or both in that dwelling, and they were going to rob her. And of course, they were going to make it out to be some big sting operation, probably put it in front of the cameras after they have tucked away some drugs and money for themselves, but they were going to rob her, thinking that she had all this drugs and money, that they were listening to his phone conversations, her ex-boyfriend, listening to the ex-boyfriend's phone conversations, thinking, oh, she's sitting on a jackpot, let's go get it. So when they arrested him earlier that day, for some reason they claimed that they didn't know he was arrested, but I call bullshit on that. I believe they knew he was arrested, and they figured with him not in the picture or able to give her a heads up, they can go sneak in, rob her, and basically, it's a done deal. So, one, I am happy that the Justice Department is taking a thorough look into this. And hopefully the truth does come out. And maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, I don't think so. Personally, just the way everything is kind of fishing out like it was a robbery. And of course, they were not prepared for her to have a new boyfriend with a firearm and fired back. Uh, because the protocol, even for that, was the way that they did the warrant and the search. They were not supposed to even once he fired at them, they weren't supposed to fire back. They were supposed to announce themselves and go through that whole protocol because of the way the warrant was issued and the protocol you were supposed to follow with a no knock. But they did not, because again, my theory is that it was a robbery gone wrong. And yeah, and that woman deserves every bit of justice. So no amount of money will be able to replace the pain that any of these families feel. And I think it's ridiculous that, again, I've said it before, that we as victims pay victims, because that's all it is. We wind up paying the victims' families for being victimized as we wait our turn, God forbid, to be victims as well, which to me is total bullshit. But this is the system in which, if we really want change, we have to be the change that we want to see. So in that same vein of that, also updated that the UN, right, United Nations, for those of you who don't know, the UN has basically launched an inquiry on all of these police brutality killings of in the United States. It's been like 100 and change in like less than a year. It's the numbers are crazy. So basically, the UN has basically put out sanction orders against the United States to investigate into all of these police brutality killings of unarmed Black people. About time somebody did something outside of the bubble. I mean, I get it. A lot of people are afraid to step up to the United States because they do fund and support a lot of countries. So people don't want to kind of bite the hand that feeds them. But enough's enough. If we can't have our own homelands kind of, fight for us or demand like, hey, if you stop this or if you don't stop this, we're going to pull out some contracts because they don't really have the power to do so. We're left to, the vices of the UN. But, it's about time. I'm glad to hear that the UN is stepping in to actually get some answers and put some sanctions on a country that has been getting away with murder, like literally getting away with murder. These cops have been slapped on the wrist, but they don't lose anything. They don't lose any benefits. They don't lose any time off. They're able to take some time, get themselves together, get their union dues in order, set aside what they need to set aside, and go to trial, and sometimes get off, but able to keep everything and all the benefits. And we wind up paying to the families what should have been coming out of the police officers' pockets. So with that, I hope it brings some change, but it's about time. But I'm not holding my breath too much. But it's nice to see the world is watching. And that was a good one for me, that the world is actually watching. Let's see what you say here. Between the cops and Breonna Taylor, I'm on outrage. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, Patty Duke. But yeah, I mean, we'll hope so. I don't know about this Derek character though. I think they'll try to throw, everything but the kitchen sink at that man, so he can do as less time as possible. And if they do give him a large sentence, we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to praise it and be all excited the first couple months. People are going to be watching to make sure nothing pops up differently. And then later, everybody's going to die down and we're going to forget about it because there's going to be a whole new case to look at, to watch, to see if there's a verdict coming. And like every other police officer that was able to slip through the cracks, get released, and we hear nothing about it, it's what's going to happen. It's unfortunate. It doesn't need to happen, but I'm prepared for it if it does. So, yeah. But as far as the updates, that was that on that. So now getting to the MOVE organization. Now, I still wish I could remember the name of the daggone documentary, but it was on HBO. And if you have a Fire Stick or whatever, you can just put in MOVE. I think it was MOVE or something about MOVE. I can't think of it. But anyway, it was an organization back in the early 80s in the west part of Philadelphia where they basically kept to themselves, almost like how you would have a community village. They taught themselves. They really didn't do too much with the outside. In the community, as far as community outreach, they did, and other things like that, but they kept amongst themselves. They were against, of course, racial profiling and all the things that was still going on even back then. And this is where I have an issue with, like Vice President Kamala Harris and Scott, when they say, oh, this is not a racist country or nation. And I get where they're going with that, but with all of the evidence that we have seen throughout even our lifetimes and that we have read about in others, it's like, call it what it is. Like we keep kind of pacifying these things as if they're an anomaly, just something so weird and different that hasn't happened or isn't true. And these things are true. Children were bombed in a church and died. Many people were hung from trees for no reason, just because. Towns and cities were destroyed because people were jealous of the fact that these people were able to take the little that you gave them and made thriving cities from that. And from the people who were given everything, for those who were punished, and for those who were given everything and still did not utilize the privilege that they had to excel themselves, get jealous of people who had to work 3 times as hard to get a little bit of something for you to burn it down. So it's definitely ridiculous. Oh, were you in Philadelphia when that happened? Wow, that's amazing. But yeah, so some 11 years ago, the police had bombed a city in a town in West Philadelphia. Yeah, it was on HBO. I forgot the name of it. And basically ruined it, right? So, but a federal judge basically struck down a rule the other day, basically saying that the police officers used excessive force and ordered the city to pay $1.5 million in damages on the 13th of May for the bombing and killing of 11 people. Now, in watching the documentary, I ain't going to give too much away because I think it's important to watch. But their whole theory, as always, is that somebody fired at them, so they fired back at the dwelling, right? Before they bombed it. But as you watch, and as it's been discovered, that they even knew that that was not the case. That somebody, a police officer in the group, wind up shooting another police officer in the group. But nobody came forward to say that's exactly what happened. They just fired upon that dwelling where the people of the MOVE organization was at, and then they bombed it with no thing of life, limb, nothing. Didn't care about the children that was in there or anything of that nature. Which brings me to the Ivy League. So it has been reported or discovered that an Ivy League school was given the remains of the children, the black children that died in the bombing by the police. This, again, not surprising, but this also brings me to my point. When we have our own people talking about or pacifying racism in this way and saying that, oh, it's not a racist country, you're like, the hell, how is it not? How is it not when you can take the remains of children that you bombed and killed, give them to Ivy League schools without even letting the parents know about the whereabouts of their children? You just give the remains to schools to study, and that's okay. I'm at a loss. They didn't really talk about too much about which schools had the remains. I guess because they didn't really want to put the blast out there. But many of the schools said that they are returning the remains to be buried. Some of them said that they didn't know where the remains came from. They was donated. But the fact that you can donate someone's remains without any kind of notification is just a sense of privilege that you have, that there's no checks and balances for you. As long as it's going to an Ivy League school, what does it matter? But why can't you use your own children's skeletal remains to examine? Again, here we go with, is that even legal? Right. That's what I'm saying. And then the fact that it's done, and it's been done throughout history. So, that part I'm not surprised at. I am a bit surprised that still there is no check and balance. And yet we can sit here and say that this nation is not necessarily a racist nation. But when we have situations like that back in 1985, where you bombed an entire group, entire small city of people just living, just didn't want to bother with your police brutality or even bother with the fact that the mayor at the time and the police chief were working hand in hand to literally destroy this organization by cutting off their power, cutting off their water. They were doing tons of things to basically get these people out. One, because they wanted to kind of change up the neighborhood, and they weren't having it. They've been there, they've been living there. They have bought the place where they were living, so they couldn't just kick them out. So they tried to do everything, and like I said, cut their power, cut the water. People were starting to donate food and water to them in the neighborhood. They were giving people citations for donating clothes to the children and food and water. If they caught them doing it, the police officers would give them a citation. So it was really ridiculous. And for them to bomb them, all for zealous police officer firing off because he's so excited, he couldn't wait, that he wind up, actually, it was a friendly fire, as they call it, but nobody said anything. They just continued to destroy, bomb, and blow up black children, black men and women, and kill them and shoot them, and everything was okay. It was just a total sham. But $1.5 million won't cover it. $1.5 million won't cover it, mainly for the simple fact that that $1.5 million will be coming from the people of Philadelphia. So again, here you will be having the victims paying victims. This is the problem, because those officers that were involved in that are retired, sipping on pensions, probably living some down where in Florida. Some are dead, doing whatever. Hey, Melissa Scott, how are you? Doing whatever, and nothing has happened. Hey, Golden Goodness, how are you? Nice to see you. Virginia Redbone, hey. Don't mind me, I'm just rambling. But yeah, I'm sure they're able to live out their golden years and be fine. But now the city of Philadelphia, which are the people who live in Philly, have to now pay $1.5 million for a bombing that the police chief at the time issued, that the mayor at the time okayed. So again, why not dig these folks up and make their families pay the $1.5 million? But I don't know, maybe that's too much to ask. So moving right along from that, we're going to talk about, I talked about that already. I don't really want to get into the slavery bit right now. Governor in, Governor in Idaho, right, signs a white fragility bill. Now, this bill, remember early on when there was a move to incorporate out of the man-AIDS history, to incorporate the beginnings of slavery, and, you know, of course, not glazing over it or making it seem like, oh my God, they loved it so much, they were taken care of and they were fed and clothed and all this other kind of stuff, the bullshit that they like to feed you, instead of the reality of what slavery was really like. And, you know, I'm sure that there were some that I guess, you know, if you want to call owning another person and treating them fairly fair. But my whole sense is, if you wanted to treat someone fairly, or if you felt like you needed to do that, then your best bet would have been to free them or pay them a living wage so they can create a family of their own, build a house of their own, and live it and work your land. You could have done that. So this whole, you know, there were some slaves that lived well. I call bullshit on that. Because if you're a slave, you're a slave. So I don't know how a slave, especially in the American sense of it, lived well but still was less than human, made sense to me. But so with that whole teaching and kind of erasing this sense of white history for the records, a lot of Republican governors are fighting back against it and basically mandating that they only teach white history. And you might ask, well, what is white history? The same man-AIDS history we have been learning throughout school that excludes a lot of the realities of slavery and what slavery really was, and the Civil War and the battle of the Civil War and what it really was. It wasn't about states' rights. States had rights. It really wasn't about that. It was about the money. It really was about the money. Slavery was a booming business, okay? Not only for the South, but for the North as well. And the United States wanted their cut. They figured if you was going to do this, then we want to get paid for it. And we're not going to allow you to slave trade and do all this and we not get paid for it. Absolutely not. So when, you know, the higher up said, we want more money, we're going to tax you more money because you're making far more money, hand over fist. We want some of that, as Uncle Sam always does. So again, this is nothing new to the vein of the United States, because if you start making more money, they'll be okay when you're not making that much. But if you start to boom up there, oh, they're going to come, they're going to find you, and they're going to want their money. And the same thing happened here. the southern states were making a lot of money. Now, they were giving some money to the North, but not as much as they should have been if they were really being taxed properly. And so when the North came a calling, or basically the federal government came a calling, then they wanted to act like, oh, no, 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 what are we doing? No, you're trying to take our rights away from us. And then, of course, a lot of the northern states wanted to at least kind of dance it up that, no, we don't feel that, humans should be in bondage. That's, and I'm not saying that that wasn't everybody, that wasn't some people's view, because it was, but the people, the movers and the shakers who were making the money from the cotton and all these other things, all these other labors that they were getting for free, those people that were making the money, no, they weren't concerned. That was the least bit of some of their concern, which is unfortunate, but true. Hey, good evening. Welcome to everybody who popped in the chat. Welcome to everybody up in the balcony. Thank you. So, yeah, I just feel like, again, there's a lot of people not wanting to know the actual truth because they're okay in the lie, because the lie works for them. The lie makes them feel better about themselves. And we, do no service either when we, lie on camera and say, oh, this is not a racist country. This is not a racist nation. And it's like, yeah, but it's rooted in it. It may not have been on its face when they came and pillaged it and kind of halfly murdered the people that was already living here. Yeah, maybe it wasn't, but they made it that way to ensure that they maintain power. So we need to address that. We need to say that. We need to be very clear on that's what it was. Now, I know white people get into their feelings a lot because they go, well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Okay. It wasn't you. May not have been you. But do you benefit from what they have done? Now, if you benefit from it and you don't do anything about it or say anything to what is happening now in your space that you live in, then you contribute to it. And you are just as guilty and just as in fault. And that is just my issue. If you may not have been there. It may have been your grandparents' age. It may have been your parents' age, and you may not know anything about it. But if in this moment right now, you sit there and you don't speak up about it, not only educate yourself, but educate the ones around you as what the purpose of things mean. Like when people try to equate the Black Lives Matter movement to some kind of radical racial thing is ridiculous to me. And for people who are supposed to be allies to not educate your own people on the differences, but you'll go out and march to make sure, I don't know, that you on TV or that it looks cool, is a problem for me. It's a problem for me. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Just look out for more Republican states to want to try and chip away at any kind of inclusive history teaching of not only classrooms, but workplaces and any other places where the fairy tale needs to stop and the truth needs to be told, because they don't want the truth. Like in that famous movie, it was like, you can't handle the truth, because they can't. Everyone is allowed their fairy tale. Are they though? This is racist and classist country. Yeah, but everyone may be allowed their fairy tale, but to what extent though? I mean, I don't think everybody's allowed their fairy tale if some of the protagonists in the fairy tale are the ones who are marginalized. I don't think so. I don't think that's, because if we're gonna really push this equal nation or all this nation's about equality and we're not like this and this is not who we are, then we need to really then show that, because what we're showing is exactly who we are. To me, what I see is exactly who this nation is. And it's not even a black or white thing. I just seen, what's the lady, Turkish or something, or she looks kind of Middle Eastern, and these women were taking photographs, and she put her charger down, and the lady clearly just picked it up and said, "It's not yours." And then she proceeded to call the police. Now I'm thinking to myself, honey, you're just as brown or definitely not white as the two black women that you are accusing of stealing something that you don't even own. It's not even yours, but you're going to call the cops. Again, knowing the type of climate that we're in. So it's almost, again, like people want this to happen, that they are okay in this. It is like they have been taught so much to the fact that Black people are whatever you think them to be, that they no longer have the right to anything, that everything that they do should be questioned and scrutinized. And it's just ridiculous. It really is getting to be crazy. And then we'll be wrong if somebody winds up popping one of them upside the head. Then we'll be looking like, oh, why did you do that? You didn't need to do that. You could have called the authorities. Who's going to keep on playing this game until somebody really gets hurt? I'm just trying to understand. The question is, why is someone's fairy tale someone else's oppression? Right. And that part is very true. That part is very true. You know, I really don't know. I would like to know the answer to that my damn self, because it's ridiculous. It really is. It really doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. So getting on to more fairy tales. This one really just, I was like, what? Are you serious? And Brother Nate, I blame you. And for this, I am going to even drop the link. So yeah, because I was just like, say what? So basically, this story coming out of South Carolina. So for those of you in South Carolina, I'm sorry. So a Black man was forced to work without pay, all right, for his white boss. And the court ruled that he should get $546,000 in compensation. Because I was going to read the first figure, but I'll get into the first figure first. But let me just bust it down and break down the story. So this owner of a catering business called JJ Cafeteria in Conway, South Carolina, had enslaved a John Christopher Smith, who was mentally disabled, for 23 years. Now, huge question for me. 23 years? What family members was he paying off to allow this to happen? That's all I'm trying to remember. Like, I get it, because at some point, the family was claiming they was looking for him, and he would, this man, Bob Paul Edwards, who's the owner, would hide him in like this back room. He lived behind the business in a roach-infested apartment. Like I said, the family said that they was looking for him and he would hide him. But I'm just confused as to, for 23 years, nobody questioned or was looking for him. Like, who was getting paid here? Somebody had to be getting paid. Either y'all was getting free food. Some transaction was happening to keep this family quiet for this long about this whole situation. So for 23 years, he beat him, forced him to work long hours with no pay. Smith, who is the disabled man, worked 18 hours a day and forced to live, like I said, in a roach-infested apartment behind the business. Bobby Paul Edwards, the owner of this establishment, was sentenced to 10 years. he was caught in 2019. So just recently. 2019, he pled guilty to one count of forced labor, which gave him 10 years. So the gentleman in question was awarded $273,000 off break. That was on. Are you ready, sir? Or are you just listening? You ready? Okay. So he was awarded $273,000 just off break for unpaid wages and overtime. The federal judge then stepped in and said, "Oh hell no! You're going to give him double the amount." So he's ordered them to pay him $546,000. Now, again, I have so many questions that I would just like, but my main questions are towards the family. Like, I really don't even like. I can't. I just how
that's the main thing. Where was the family?
Yeah, that's all I'm like. Yo, where was the family during all
knowing
of
that this man had developmental issues?
Like, where was the family the whole time? So he had to be working for this man since he was a young kid. And you mean to tell me none of y'all?
Yeah, they were saying what, about 12 or so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though that story is maybe like 2 or 3 weeks old.
Yeah, it's like,
and
it's like 3 weeks old. And I swear, after you sent it to me, I didn't look at it at first. I just wanted to see if I would hear anything anywhere about it.
Yeah, see, that's why I waited on that one, because I wanted to hear the follow up on it, because it was just it was just so damn way out, you know.
Yeah. But I'm just like, yo, like, so he was allowed to have a slave make all this money from basically the slave, and he only got 10 years, which he might get off into.
It needs to be reevaluated. It really does. It that 10 years is not enough.
No.
10 years is not enough.
For 23 years of free labor?
You're right. Out of sight, out of mind. It was probably such a small town that they probably never paid it any attention. They just figured he's always worked there. You know, they were probably saying, well, he's blessed that he has a job because because of his issues. It's crazy.
It really is. I mean, that thing blew me. I was sitting up here like, nobody said nothing. I was like, his parents must have been long gone, or something must not be.
Yeah. Must not be. Anybody else to look after him. But the real problem is, who's going to oversee him now that he has all this money?
Oh no, the family is now, because they were looking for him. Remember that in the article? Oh, we was looking for him, and he would hide him in the back. He wouldn't let us see him. Who was leaving? If I didn't get to see my family member, if I knew that's where that person worked, and he didn't come home or anything like that, who's gonna make me leave? I'm just, like, now all of a sudden now, because that this man has gotten all this money, so now all of a sudden we were so concerned about our family member. Come on, save it. Save it. And the sad thing about it is, if it's not someone who is outside actually looking into this money, or kind of like watching this money for him, they're gonna take it from him, like literally take it from him.
That's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
And like I said, they ought to. The court system should put someone overseeing him.
Yeah. Right.
Because you really don't know what degree his mental abilities are anyway.
That part is true. Like, you don't know the extent to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it obviously is severe enough to where in which you could work for free and not even ask for a paycheck, or be like, okay, I'm not getting paid. What the hell's going on? So
I mean, if he didn't have the ability to just walk off, to say,
Right.
to hell with this.
To hell with this.
Or I'm going to tell someone.
Right. Right. And then again, he's probably been there so long to the fact where, you made him feel like family. He didn't feel like he wanted to tell on you because if he told, you get in trouble.
Yeah, but you're abusing him and you're burning him.
Right.
But did you see the picture? Did you see the photo of the guy his mugshot? He had that same shit-eating grin on his face like Derek Chauvin. Had like a smug on his face.
I saw that. Yeah, like I'm in here for this kind of mess. Yeah.
Now I hope when he gets in jail, they ream him a new asshole.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I hope they make him cook and clean in the kitchen, and they burn his ass and beat his ass.
Make him a slave, right. with no lube.
Right. I just thought that was ridiculous. Like,
you're right. He needs a guardian.
Yeah. And then somebody that's not even. I would prefer someone who's not even like
not family,
not from that town, no family. I just need somebody outside who is. That's their profession. This is what they do, and there's no kind of anything involving any kind of connection because these people will go after him like,
Oh yeah, they'll run through that in no time.
In no time, okay, if they haven't already from the first portion of the settlement. So that was that. Hey, thank you, Auntie Donna, for sharing. I just saw that. Miss Keisha Bottoms not running for mayor. People like, oh, there's some kind of scandal is the reason why she's not running. I don't think so. I think she's running for governor. I think she wants the governorship. Yeah, there may be some stuff that, she's trying to not having to answer for maybe later on, but I think she's trying to run for governor. I think that's her goal.
I thought about it too until I saw her interview. She looks burnt out. She looks seriously like, she is toasted.
But I mean, and that could be true too, because it is difficult being a mayor of a city, and then you having to deal with a governor and state representatives that are totally against you. You're on an island by yourself because anything that happens as far as state emergency or anything of that nature, like COVID, all these things, the governor is the one that issues out all the help. The governor is the president of your state. Look at it like that. The governor is the president.
And she probably realized once she got in there, it's like, I can only do so much.
Right.
That's the type of thing. My hands are tied.
Yeah, right. And they are. Because, you can do what you can for your little city, but outside of that, you lose jurisdiction because now it's the state. So certain people who may have a liking to you or live on the outskirts of your city are like, hey, why don't we get this? And you like, well, listen, I can't. I'm only the mayor of this city here. I wish I could help you, but you got to talk to them, So,
but it would be a nice move if she popped up, she doesn't say anything. She lays low and everything because she raised her money that she needed.
Right.
That's the thing that kind of startled me. So.
Oh no, but I knew she would because when she started getting involved with Stacey Abrams and pushing the vote.
Oh yeah.
She would.
Oh yeah. Maybe they're just trying to make sure that they. Maybe they're trying to make sure that they seal the fate by going after the governorship.
Yeah. That's true.
Because I thought about that too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But listening to that conference, she was looking kind of, maybe she thought also by being the mayor, she could do more for the people, within the city. So I could see her, being emotional about that.
Yeah. And it was a big push to get her voted and elected. You know what I'm saying? That was a big thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure she's kind of heartbroken a little bit because a lot of people put in work, but
Yeah, but you know what?
she's not trying to give her cards away either. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
I was going to say,
that whole burnt
I'm
out
sure.
look, she's giving it away. Like, oh, I'm so burnt. I don't want to do this no more. And go ahead, Kemp. Think I'm sleeping, and I got you. You know, that kind of.
Because I'm sure in their wildest dreams, they never thought that all of that foolishness would be going on down there.
Yeah, no, not
between that and Florida.
Right. So yeah, not at all.
You know, because I'm waiting for our governor to show his ass too.
Speaking of that, man, I just briefly ran over that article about him issuing pardons.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what was the pardons for?
But these were people that were lynched.
Right. So what were you pardoning?
And these were like what? 75, 50, 75, almost 100 years ago?
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out, because it was like out of left field.
Yeah, it really, like, really.
Wait, you're constantly I'm trying to hear the rest of the story. And then, okay, pardons for, they were lynched, and it really doesn't matter now because they're deceased.
Right.
I don't think white people understand that when they issue these pardons for people that their people have killed that were innocent.
It's like, turn the page. It's the fairy tale. You just turn the page and like, oh, now on this.
Well, it makes them feel good,
right? But that's my point.
We're correcting the problem. You know, it makes them feel good.
But that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, okay, why are you pardoning the people that was lynched if you're not giving some kind of money to the families of these victims?
Yeah, something,
right? Something, because you pardoning them for what?
You've altered. Not you, but they've altered. You know, the actions have altered that family forever.
Yeah,
may have even wiped out some family bloodlines.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. You do all this, then you come back and say, "Oh, we're going to pardon the people," but to what result? This is just like what makes me angry about the old thing of mayonnaise that was able to die after she spent her whole life on a lie, went cruising, had grandkids and great grandkids, and was able to live out her life whole time, lied on a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And that's
okay.
Hey, Jess, how you doing? And that's okay. Like, save me with the fake shit. Like,
it doesn't right the wrong that was done.
It really doesn't. And I mean, and out of nowhere it was just like, so
yeah, I think that's the thing that surprised me. But he's trying to troubleshoot.
We're probably gonna discover that there's some body somewhere that these individuals have been studied by the likes of the university down there that's like buying up all the stuff. Yeah. So that's probably what it is. It's something to it.
Something's about to come out.
Something's about to come out about it. That's why he hurried up and did that, to kind of ease it to where people are like, oh, well, at least because I'm just not understanding the purpose of that. But again, another Republican mayor trying to, I don't know, do something. Because he confuses me. One minute he's like, I think he's got his shit together, and even on a like, okay, and then
he's still a Republican.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Then he goes
and he moves just like one.
He goes right into that Trumpian kind of, and it's like, come on, like the hell is wrong with you? But yeah, whatever.
And that movie and that documentary was 40 Years a Prisoner.
40 Years a Prisoner. Okay, thank you. I was like, I know I've seen it. I just can't remember the name of it. But yeah, 40 Years a Prisoner is the name of the documentary on HBO about the MOVE organization. And it's really, really good. You should definitely check it out.
When when I sent you that one, it seriously brought a tear to my eye. I was real. That was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
That was on a Thursday.
Because when
It
I read it, I
really
was like,
upset
"Oh,
me.
that's the article I saw. That's the movie I saw when he was, he was pushing to really get his parents out before they died. He did not want them to die in there, and
Mm-hmm.
he
Yes,
moved
because they killed everything. They killed
everything.
all the animals, all the pets, and
Yep.
everything. And there were children that were in there, and they ended up bombing that one house.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when they took that helicopter and dropped that
Right.
bomb
They
on it,
dropped
it
that
ended up
bomb.
burning down 60 houses. I
Yep.
don't know how
In
many
the area.
blocks,
Right.
that whole area, and burned out everything.
Yep. Sure
And then
did.
to come back and discover a lot of these parents they were incarcerated,
Right.
and
So they never knew what happened to their children.
to their children. Well, they knew their children had gotten killed,
Yeah.
but I'm sure with them being incarcerated, there probably wasn't any other family members to,
Take
take the remains, and which they should have just, because the rest of the children ended up going in foster care,
right.
and they were being abused in foster care,
Yeah.
And that really upset me. That really upset me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's such an old story, and then it's like, damn, there's still more shit coming out, and it's like, and for them to actually desecrate these children's bodies,
right?
That's the thing that infuriated me. They,
Mm-hmm.
but I never underestimate that animal.
No, no, I don't. That's why when we, again, I can't state it enough. When we say stuff like "this is not a racist country" and all that kind of stuff, come on, you feeding into that animal. You're feeding into that. That is what they want you to say. We
playing the political game.
Yeah, because we're always considerate of how they may feel or take things that we say. It's here. The proof is here. It's not like you're pulling it out your ass. The shit is here in real time. You had a whole trial about a police officer murdering someone, and just 10 miles down the road, you go ahead and do similar to the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
While all this is going on, we're not dealing with race here in some fashion. I mean, we dress it up nice, and want to be like, oh, well, no, this is, and we dress this up and dress this pig up and dress that pig up, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I can't get with it. I try, but I just can't. I can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yep. So that is all I had. Besides, Joe Biden, I guess, getting large approval ratings for his COVID turnout. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I'm not thrilled because this is what a president in crisis should be doing. So this is not, he don't get kudos from me because the last one was too into himself, definitely a race baiting and a racist and a bigot enough to put his head out of his own asshole and really be concerned about the nation as a whole. Then he could have got back to being a bigot, and he probably would have still won. But he was so concerned about making sure that white was right and we were back on top, that was his whole mission. And I mean, even still, they're still going at it. They still have not stopped this.
They're still counting.
Yeah, they're still counting. They're still pushing this kind of white agenda and this is the part that fools me. We sitting up here, especially, us black folks sitting up there talking about who's pushing an agenda, and yet the man is pushing the agenda for them to remain on top. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about how gay men are changing the view of family and all this other kind of bullcrap, which is strictly bullcrap. Because at the end of the day, Look at your own record. There are a lot of single mothers out here raising kids. Why is that? That should not be. Why is that? And we're so concerned about sexuality that you got a lot of men and women out here dipping and dabbling because they can't be themselves, because they're so concerned about what their family is going to say and what their friends are going to say, because we're so stuck on, you're not a man or you're not a woman till you do this and do that by whomsoever standards that is, let alone when we were brought here against.
Look, families take many forms.
They do.
They take many forms.
But we don't really look into that and really like explore that. We get, this family.
Well, that's because they jab it down your throat that, family is a male, a man, a woman, and children, and that's it.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the same people that drilled into your head for you to be a breeder. Like, This is the part I'm not getting with a lot of the I want to say rhetoric that I hear. It's like, oh, okay, but this is the same mantra that was fed to you, that the man has to provide and make the family and do all this. It's like,
oh no, that was for olden days. It doesn't work like that anymore. Not if you want to be successful and not be eating ramen noodle for the rest of your life.
Right. It's like y'all got to come together and work together.
That's right.
On whatever kind of relationship you have, but it's really ridiculous. It really is. And to hear a lot of this, a real man and a real woman and a real.
No.
Come on, when you lack responsibility, when you lack integrity, when you lack a whole bunch of stuff, it's hard for me to look at you, male or female, and really consider you a real anything but a real child in a grown-ass body. That's just it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but whatever. I just like...
No, but if you want to see representation of different types of families, look at the more primitive, what we would consider more primitive people. Okay, because they blur the lines.
Right. Hey, Lady P, how are you?
And people fill in where they have to fill in.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Right.
we're just used to seeing the grandmother stepping in and things like that. So
right.
They have where your sister may take care of your children, that type of thing. And that's another thing too, because you would assume that if you were to listen to most people, what's that?
But back in the day, a lot of that happened, like where other family members would take.
Yeah, like I was getting ready to say, if you were interested in adopting a child, you would always hear about how black people don't adopt black children at a certain rate. That's because we just take the kids. You don't go through the formality of going through a system and trying to secure monies coming from this. It's like, no, so and so's living with me.
Right.
That's my nephew.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. It's one of those unspoken things. You don't go through a third party for somebody to tell you take care of your family member. They'll do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. But if you want to see pure representation, look at more primitive tribes. Even though they have some strange customs, but then some I can understand because of the imbalances as far as you may have more females than males, that type of thing. Right. Not to get too deep, because we're not meant to be monogamous.
Oh Lord. There you go with that one.
It's just to our advantages, though. It really is. It's to our advantages.
Not to be?
Huh? No, to be. I mean, biologically, it is not to our advantage as a species. But for us
See, there we go with that fruitful and multiply shit. I just don't.
No, it's not just being fruitful and multiply, but just to mix up the gene pool. If this covert virus thing didn't teach us anything else, is that you have some people that are carriers, some people that are truly success can really catch the shit, and then some people that are not phased at all, and then there's just some people that it takes them out.
Yeah.
You have to have a constant mix of the gene pool. That's the only advantage of not being in a monogamous relationship, because you're constantly mixing up. There's 7 billion people on the planet.
Then you're gonna wind up bumping the people that are related. That's what I'm saying. Like,
we're all related to a certain degree.
Yeah,
we're already related to a certain degree. That's even like in small towns. If they were to do that DNA, whatever, you would find that you're all pretty related. You're like third or fourth cousins, down the road. That's why a lot of places, a lot of tribes, you would have to date outside of your village,
right?
Because it's so interbred, and that's how you get certain characteristics. You can look at certain groups, and it's like, oh yeah, that's so and so. Right. We would say that's so and so's kid or something like that, or it might be a brother or something like that.
Right.
But you have to. That's the only thing there. But to our advantage as being in a monogamous relationship is being able to raise a child. Because it takes so long.
Thank you.
It does. It takes so long to raise a child.
Yeah.
And the child thrives better with a 2-parent household.
Yeah, that part is true.
Because you can tell the difference, and it's not necessarily having a male in the household, but not just financially. Just the child is more disciplined.
Yeah. It's that's what I was about to say. It's not really a financial thing. Everybody always gets caught up like it's a financial thing. It's not. It's just a balance of how things is. It's really weird, but it's just everything flows better. Even if the person is not, like, my stepdad was not that kind of vocal person. My mother was that vocal person. Everybody would just tell my mother, and my mother would, discipline. However, as I got older, my stepdad would step in and be like, okay, I got this. But when we were younger,
because you always knew there was a backup. That's why.
When we were younger, it was always the tell thing. It was like, oh gosh, goodness gracious, this is ridiculous. But I mean, I'll admit I got in trouble the most in all of my siblings. But that's just because of my mouth, and just I just wasn't. I questioned everything like I do now, so it just doesn't surprise me that. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's you can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah. But I mean, I applaud those who, because my mother did raise us a while by herself until my stepdad, who was my oldest brother's biological father, came back into the picture. But I don't know. It was really different. I've had friends who just had their mothers or lived with their aunts or things of that nature, and it really was very different. And I applaud my brother for even. He takes all of his friends' kids or his neighbors' kids, especially if there's single mothers or whatever, and he'll do stuff with his son with them, because we didn't have that. It was just like so he always tries to make sure he's a presence in a lot of lives, which I do employ. Like, you don't have to be, and I do the same for my friends. It's just like, you just have to be a presence and know that there may be some times that she cannot communicate that to him the way.
There's a vast difference. Vast difference in communication, and even understanding why the kid does what the child does.
Doing,
it's like, well, you haven't been there. You're not going through all of this. Half this shit he don't understand, and half of this shit I didn't understand until I became a certain age.
Right. But that's always the thing, to be there to ensure that, okay, you may not understand what you're going through, I didn't understand it when I was yours, but I understand it now. And
Now,
for
yeah.
that, I'm giving you this extra jewel right now
Mm-hmm.
so you can grow to understand where you are right now. Because that happens to so, and especially in our communities, that happens to so many of us. No one's there to be like, hey,
Yeah.
you get one or two that really, take the time to nurture and go through those kind of growing pains with you. But it's we really need to do more in our communities to
Mm-hmm.
really raise our young people um, to better things instead of just feeding them TV and videos of things that are not real to aspire to be. It's more than just a basketball player. It's more than just a rapper. It's
Mm-hmm.
more than just, you say doctor, lawyer, which, sounds all great, but we need engineers too.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
science. We need all these other things that, don't get glorified, but at the same time, you could make it. You could glorify it in your own way. You could do what you do, kick ass, and
Mm-hmm.
make it work for you. So I don't know. I just think we got a lot of work. we
Oh, it's a whole lot of work.
got a lot of work to
It's
do.
a whole lot of work, and especially for the males. Huh?
Yeah,
Test, testosterone is a powerful drug, man. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
it really is. It
that's a
really
fucking high.
is. Yeah, it really is. Because when it really started to kick in for me, that's when my dad really started to step in and be like, "Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
got this,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it would be like, "What? Why you like what?" He'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Watch all that," and we all get to that point. Like my brother got in it with his son to the point where he was like, he tried to fight me, and I'm like, "Dude, we've all been there.
Yeah. That's normal.
We've all
That's
been."
the that's that's
You
testosterone.
got
That's
you
that
get
shit.
that you get
That's
that
that
one hit
shit.
in, you get that one hit
Mm-hmm.
in where you was like, you just hit me, and you lose the fact that that is your parent,
Mm-hmm.
and you whoa, and then you get that one. I'm not playing with you hit, and you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
wait till I get older, I'm gonna get you back.
Oh yeah, they'll flex on you.
Yeah,
That's why you try. That's why you try to keep them under control as much as
right,
possible when they're
yeah,
younger. Then that way you don't have to stomp them half to death
yeah,
to make them to understand. And if you have some young person that just doesn't have that understanding because they never had to, they never had anybody there to kind of keep them in check.
right.
They'll catch it. They'll definitely catch it. Yes, testosterone is a dangerous drug.
It's a
Patty
hell of
Duke,
a
let me tell you. Let me tell you, girl. And like I said, a lot of that shit I didn't figure out until I started going through menopause. Because it was like, it's like you. After you turn 25, your testosterone level starts to drop.
job. Yeah.
But as you start to get into your 40s
Yeah.
and your 50s, no. But it's more. For me, it was more of a psychological thing.
Okay.
It was like being in a fog.
Mm.
And things that you will notice, like you don't get angry as easy.
Okay.
You know how you ever hear old women when they tell their daughters that their husbands are running around, oh, he'll calm down.
Right.
That type, and that's exactly what happens. It's like, oh shit, somebody hit my car. Okay, well, whatever. That's why I got insurance.
Right.
Where if I was younger,
Yeah. Like,
and
oh my god. Yeah.
it's about, well, I'm gonna whip your ass, whatever, and blah 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 blah. That type of thing. But it does it is just it hypes you up so much.
Mm.
And then once you finally start to level off and come down to a more acceptable level, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? And you're sitting down there and you're watching Walt Disney movies, and tears are running down your eyes.
Oh, shit.
And it was like, oh, what the fuck is this, man? I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh no.
Yeah, it may not be that bad for you. I mean, because somebody's telling you. But
Yeah.
if you happen to notice it, or you just become a lot more emotional on an emotional level.
Yeah,
For me, like for me, because I'm not really that of an emotional person.
Yeah.
So for me, it was emotions.
Right.
Emotions start come
I get
to the
that.
surface.
Yeah. I get that a little bit. I get that a little bit more so since my mom has passed. That certain stuff that I would normally like either watch with her or just be like,
Mm-hmm.
Like she used to cry. Funny bit, she would cry watching Forrest Gump, and I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
"What are you crying for?" And I don't know. I was watching it the other day, and I was like, "Oh!" And I would start laughing at myself, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
"Why are you crying? Because you're crying because she used to cry at this." And be like,
Right.
"Oh,
Mm-hmm.
look, they did this and it is, and he still made it." Like, Mom, get over it. Like, it's just a movie. She would like bawl, and I'd be like, I can't watch stuff with you. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, Patty Duke. I could have used some volume. That's what I used to give them back in the old days. You be fucked up. They would give you volume.
oh, really? No way. I can't.
Yeah,
Do
Patty Duke. Everybody goes through the same thing. Ain't it's just that men don't talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That or it could be like Tyrese, because this is on my list. Tyrese shaving his young girlfriend on Instagram, doing dumb stuff. Yes.
He shaved his girlfriend.
Yes, that was a couple weeks ago too. See, that's what happens. We don't have we don't have the we don't have the rundown. we're relegated to 1 day a week.
What?
Yeah, he shaved. He has a new girlfriend, and he was shaving. He was shaving her on Instagram. That was some old man shit.
Yeah, that's some old take your teeth out man shit.
Mm-hmm. You know.
Somebody get him a role quick, please.
Because he 1 minute he was talking about how much he loved his wife and all the rest of that, and he's extra anyway. He's extra anyway. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised from him, but that's an old ass. That's an old.
Well, he let a lot of this movie stuff get to his head, so he thinks he's like a big blockbuster.
Look, everybody has their season.
Yeah,
he should have went back to doing music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But sometimes
yes, men do go through this stuff too.
Yeah, I didn't know. Not to that degree. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Because everybody always thinks with men, it's always their libido, and just life in general. That's gonna happen. And I don't even think that's more biological. It's just that we're so busy. You're working, you're taking care of family, and say you have to take care of your parents, you have to take care of kids. There's just so much stuff. So that's just normal. Who has time?
Right.
Right, yeah. You're working at night. Everybody's working different shifts, things like that. Life goes on. This shit happens. All this other dumb stuff that kind of seeps into your life that you don't even pay it any attention to. And then, who has ain't nobody humping like rabbits anymore. Right. The only time you have that much sex is when you poor and when you're young. Okay, because you got time to do it.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're trying to maintain the household, take care of kids and everything else, you get it in when you can get it in. That's right. It is so true. You try to get it in when you get it in. But it is just men just don't
talk about it.
They don't talk about it. I'm trying to think. My father never talked about it. My brother never talked about it.
Wow. My father talked about because I was master at breaking the lock on the back of the cable box.
Yeah. Now men will tell you about their porn magazines or whatever, and that's where my porn stash was. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you say, Patty, you wish your husband would come with you with a razor. Yeah, that was extra. That was real extra.
I wouldn't. Now, I've had a girlfriend shave me, but I've never.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want anybody to shave me. Mm-mm. Plus, it itches when it grows back. Like I said before. Yeah. Trimming is enough, and definitely it's like, oh no, because you'll never nick me, have me bleed like bleeding like a cow
Right.
at the slaughterhouse.
Sitting
Oh,
there,
I didn't mean to do it. Yes,
sitting there
and you
crying.
won't do
Yes,
it
you
again.
did. Right. I've seen The Color Purple too many times.
Oh yeah,
The shame, mister. No,
Mister,
you're not, bitch.
go.
You're not the
You
shame.
about to run across that field?
You're not about the shame shit. No, you're not.
That blade look kind of dull.
Right. All I see is the Mafia kids running around and that song and that lady wailing in the back of my head. No, thank you. Don't touch me. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, yeah. Don't do it, Miss Seeley. Don't trade places.
Don't do it. That blade look kind of dull. Be like what's her name? Lorena Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine lived in the same apartment complex. Actually, the building over to where she lived and where they lived in Virginia. Right down the road.
Was it when that happened?
Huh?
Were they living there when that happened?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I want to know if they were out there with flashlights looking for the dick.
From New York, but they used that. They used that when he moved it. They was like, "Do you know that this is the place?" Yeah, and Lorena Bobbitt lived when she cut off the guy's penis, and she threw it in the field right over there. Like, how do you use that as a selling tool for people to buy?
But the bad part that tripped me out was he did porn.
Yeah, he did porn after that. Mm-hmm. He sure did.
I wonder how much grass and dirt was on that.
Worms and all kinds
of
stuff.
I know they did. I know that they didn't send the dogs out to look for it.
No. Dog would ate that up thinking it was a damn treat or something.
I know. Come back chewing on it or flipping it all up in the air. What is that?
Sausages.
Because you know what? When an animal gets a hold of something and you can't identify what the hell that is. Like, what the hell is that?
He's like, is that a head?
He done drunk something in the house. I don't know what it is. Throw it away. Then you go with the paper towel and pick it up, right? You'll be like, oh, hell. What the? Come look at this shit.
We're not about
the dick out there.
We can't reattach this. Are you crazy?
All chewed up, marred up, and everything else. I wonder if he got a pump. Because I know they used to call him Franken Dick.
Oh, really?
Behind it. Yeah, I guess it was because of the scars.
Scars, yeah. Oh, he did look like old Frankenstein. I'm going to stick it in you.
Wait a minute, I got to pump it up front.
Right.
Pump it up front.
Don't let none of them stitches pop. Oh.
Have you seen the man, the trans man? He's not trans man. He's in God, what the hell is it?
Speaking of trans, we ain't gonna talk about that now, but go ahead.
No, what is it? Intersexual? I can't remember what it's called.
The intersex guy. Oh yeah,
watch those from over in England.
Yeah.
He stays fucked up all the time. I can't watch him more than 5 minutes. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I think he just has so much going on. You know, he has a child, right? He has a little girl.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because he was complete, intersexed.
Yeah,
that's what it is. He was complete. He had both sets.
Okay.
He had testicles, and ovaries.
I watched that. They said that they found those up.
Yeah, did you see his? It may even still be up on YouTube. His he showed his penile surgery.
Oh no.
He has because he's like somebody else that we know that likes to get naked.
Oh.
But because his is, I guess, educational, they kept it up.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So they kept it up, and they took the skin from his forearm, so his penis is a lighter color, which is usually the opposite. Usually, penis is a darker color than the rest of you. But and I had asked him, did he have the option, because over there, they have the government pays for your you have medical.
Oh.
So the government paid for everything.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, did he have the option of having a foreskin or not? And he's like, no, he never did. And he actually has, I guess you would classify it as two, because his clitoris was large enough that they were able to place the skin over that. And he also has a head of a penis also that was made from some nerves also. And he's waiting to have the rods. I think he wants the rods put in instead of the pump.
Okay.
But he had other surgical issues. He had fistulas at the base, holes in the bottom of the penis. When he would urinate, he would have problems with that. But he stays fucked up all the time.
Wow.
It's to the point where, and it's just normal stuff, because he'll have his daughter or whatever, and just going about his daily life or whatever. He does modeling and music and all the rest of that crap, and then later on he's just like, he'll go like a whole month and he'll just be totally fucked up the whole time.
Wow.
So I just think the whole thing is just so much to kind of comprehend. But yeah, he has a little. They paid for, I guess, whatever procedures he had to do to conceive his daughter. Daughter has a mother, so it was like it was his. But that's what happens when you have medical services through the government.
Through the government, right?
So what, you got to share a room? You got to share a room anyway, but you don't have no big ass bill. Somebody charging you $40 for a Tylenol.
Oh, $100 for one. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I gotta check that out. Yeah. But about that other one running for governor, get her out of here. Caitlyn.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Her and everything about.
You know what? She still has that white man's mentality.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Roof her.
And that's not something, especially at her age, that she's gonna be able to get out of.
She's not gonna be able to shake or get out of. No. It's like you did that because you had the money to do it, and you accepted somewhat to do it because of the money who you were.
From what I see, the white people that that go through the whole procedure, they tend to do better. They tend to do better. The ones that transition. They don't do the back. Well, first of all, they have the money to do so.
I don't know what happened to her, because she still looked like.
Look. But then too, remember she was talking about trans kids participating in sports.
She was talking about trans kids participating in sports. She was talking about a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of that, that was like the main thing. But what a couple of months ago, she was playing golf, and she played in a women's tournament.
Yep, she did. That's why I said roof her. Because you can't sit there and say that that's why I say it's a joke. This is like how normally people would, make their money and then go live out in Florida. He made his money and put some boobs in his chest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're a joke. But
big
anyway,
time.
At that rate. Any announcements? Of course, the Gentleman's Panel will be on Jay Wilson's platform this week. So look out for that. Thursday, 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central. Anything else other than that?
Keystone Malt Liquor.
Don't nobody do that, but I didn't know what that was, so I was like, "What is
malt liquor?" Malt liquor. They only sell it in certain areas, in black areas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not just to drink, but malt liquor in general.
Malt liquor in general, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but Keystone malt liquor, having grown men showing their anal clefts, I think was a bit much. Now, see, I'm going to stop just letting stuff play in the background and letting YouTube put up suggestions, because that's how I came across that. And that was a new one, because I think it was like either Saturday or Sunday. I was doing something around here, and then I just let the stuff run, and I'm listening and whatever's in the background, and I'm like, what the hell is he mumbling about? Well, all this other crap that's going on over in that messy area of town. And did you see it?
Yep. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, wow. Okay. We're really doing this.
We're really doing this, right? That's what I was like. Mm-hmm. And we keep on doing it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
But then with the shock, I was kind of concerned. It's like, what's going on that makes you do that?
Yeah. Because again, it's less about you doing it to feel better about yourself than to allow people to then utilize. Like, why give them this power? Like, you're giving people that. Like, I get it that you feel like you're not doing anything because you are beholding it into yourself, but you are still giving people them power to then talk about it, put it back up, utilize it, say, see, this is what he does. This is it's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
But they didn't snatch it down.
No, they did not. Which I was surprised about.
Yeah, because that was real intense for this platform.
Yeah,
that was real intense.
But
like I said, after I thought about it, I was like, boy, I said, what is going on with him?
Yeah. That's the bigger thing. But I just, it's like you can only do so much or say so much, and then I stop repeating myself because then I feel like
because some people just don't listen.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fine. You have your choice, but I just feel like why feed these people any kind of anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, say what you have to say, stand by it, and keep it moving.
And just keep it moving.
You don't have to do the extra for what? Because then it becomes a click and a view, even in that. Because you already know what people are going to do. You know they're going to watch. You know they're going to take snapshots. You know they're going to do all this. And it's just like, for all that, create an OnlyFans. And you could do that all day long.
Yeah.
That's what I say, create an OnlyFans.
And get paid for it.
Get paid for it. Because it don't make no sense for you to do it here on YouTube. Then you get a channel strike or whatever. And then you got to create a whole nother channel to then continue on doing the same stuff. Get an OnlyFans page. You can do that. You can talk your mess. You can stand out there butt ass naked and swinging around all day long and show every bit of whatever you want to show and get paid for it. Let the people pay to see it. If they want to watch it so much, let them pay to see it.
Let them pay for it. Don't give it to them for free. Everything has a price.
Everything has a price. Hell, if they gonna screenshot it and then put it on their platform, talk about how you was walking around like, well, they had to pay the whatever it was to see it.
That's right.
So thank you for your donation and keep it moving. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But I don't think it helps if you're trying to make a case or whatever you're trying to prove to people who really don't matter at the end of the day.
But then the stuff is real stupid shit.
Yeah.
All that stupid, that's the whole thing. That whole even though now you turn me on to Kwani, that's like a guilty pleasure. That's almost like that's like a diabetic habit. That's like a diabetic having some chocolate. I was like, I ain't supposed to listen to, but it's funny as shit. I had to laugh.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She is truly hilarious. Like, I mean, people, I don't, and some people, they, it's not their cup of tea or whatever. But for me, I know how to listen to something, separate the fluff from the actual facts. And it's like, I can keep it moving. I don't really have to, dwell in a place of, this person believes this about people. It's your opinion, it's your view. You're entitled to it. Like, I can't speak for that for myself, but it is what it is. But she's hilarious.
She is.
She's hilarious.
She makes me go look and see what these people are
Yeah,
sometimes. When
right.
I got time, it's like, who is this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because a lot of times when she fussing, I don't know who she's talking about, except that one person. Then she exposed that person possibly has a caregiver, and I said, "Oh, look at that, funny." And I dropped down in the chat just so whomever was watching know that yes, I dropped down in the chat right when she said it because I thought it was funny. Ha 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 ha! It was funny. Talking all that shit. But that's what I mean. People be talking the most shit and got the most shit going on with them. It's like, yo, shut up. I get it. This is your moment to be seen. This is your moment to be popular because you didn't have that growing up. And it's for a lot of others too. They didn't have, in their adolescent years. So this is their time to shine. But like, grow the fuck up. If you're going to do this and spew lies about people, come on, what's the like, what are you really doing? Again, grown ass people, well, little people in grown ass bodies.
Bodies. Yeah, I was going to say grown bodies.
Or some people just in the bodies that they were as a child.
Shut up.
Well, and on and on. And see, you don't have to like, and that whole thing, like inviting people and putting people's name in chat. I don't do all that. If you want to know if I said something about you, you got to watch it, or somebody had to watch it, and then you got to decipher. Well, was he really, or was he not? Thank you so much for the super chat. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, I just definitely be like these things, these people. But but I listen to every, like I dibble and dabble at everybody's thing. Some people now all of a sudden don't want me in their chat, and that's perfectly fine. I really don't care. I wasn't really, only if I'm bored and don't have nothing to do and I see that you're live, I'll check and see what you're saying. I mean, it's YouTube. That's what people do. But it is not a big deal. Nobody is, looking for your chat anyway. Just like you disappeared and came back, you'll disappear again. So, but other than that, but yes, Kwani is definitely somebody that I enjoy quite a bit, especially if she's just talking about something, like if she's going after someone who's said something about her or something, and I don't know who they are, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? But the stuff she said is so funny.
I know. It just flows. That's what it is. It just flows.
Yeah, it's the timing. This one was a bit different because I happen to be friends with, have a YouTube affiliation with the one person she was going with. So it wasn't like it was funny, but a lot of other stuff she was saying was very factual and on point with a lot of the content creators, and not being so concerned that, okay, so someone dragged you, whoop-de-doo, like, you don't know these people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just got to get out of like, okay, you said what you said, cool, great, you feel good about yourself, but you don't know me, know nothing about me. So it's like, get over yourself. Not let you check these balconies. Yeah, it'd be quite interesting. It would be quite interesting, but I just don't like people to dictate to people like where they should be or where they shouldn't be. Hell, I'm gonna go wherever I choose.
You go wherever you want to go.
I'll go wherever. You don't want me there, then block me. But other than that, if you see me in there, I'm in there because you were on and it was nothing else of interest right now, so I just popped in. Other than that, I really don't. I don't get all caught up in that. Like, it don't look right. I have my own platform. If you want to talk about what I talk about over here, whatever you talk about over there, I'm gonna listen to it. 9 times out of 10, I don't even know who you're talking about or even what has happened. So I'm anyway. I'm just like, whoever started this, ooh. I don't be knowing what's going on half the time anyway. I just be like, who are they talking about? Or what happened now? Or kind of got put it together, piece it by piece.
Yeah, it's like I like it because it's like a puzzle.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out who it is. It's like, what? Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, I did hear about this person.
Right.
Oh, okay, well, whatever.
Like,
I'll never get the whole. I'll never get the whole picture,
Yeah.
until one night somebody gives the whole story
Right.
about what's going on.
How that happened? You're like, oh, that makes sense now. It makes sense. But yeah, and then a lot of people just acting like a lot of us who are now content creators or even subscribers that we haven't been watching the whole time. Like, I may be new to doing this. Well, not that new anymore, but I was watching. I just didn't know who the people were. It was just, recommend and you watch, but I didn't know who was what. But I've seen a lot of stuff, and a lot of people act a certain way or bust out crying because they got kicked off of stuff, and then now we want to act different. It's just like, girl, you was a whole hot hooling snotty mess.
Yeah, everybody at one time was like everybody was having fucking nervous breakdowns all over the place. I was like, what is going on?
Yes. I was
like, y'all depressed. I'm going back to watch cartoons. Shit.
Right, some enjoyment or something.
Yeah, I mean serious deep stuff, and then they would come out here and they would just tell like deep dark stuff that you just you really shouldn't put out into not out there. Because people will take it and weaponize it.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, again, like I said, like, you don't if you're going to give them something to weaponize, make them pay for it. But you're not going to give it to them for free. Like, I'm not going to give you that for free. Like, no, you're not going to get that for free. No.
Definitely pay for it.
Yeah.
So I'm starting my OnlyFans page.
All right. That's where you gotta go.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's Twitter, but it's a lot. I still get to see who I allow to my Twitter, but I just don't. You won't catch me doing nothing crazy, so don't even. You may catch a glimpse every once in a while, like, oh, that's nice, but you won't. No, I'm not on no trains, not on no planes, and no automobiles.
No.
I hope somebody like, no. That's not my thing.
Or somebody's mauling the stairway.
No, not at all. Looking.
You know what? I really wonder. All this stuff finally blows over, and all those people that have started OnlyFans page put all their guts out there for the world to see, right? And it's like, how are you going to live this stuff down?
How are you going to live it down if you try to do anything, especially in the public eye? That's
in the public eye.
That's the first thing they're going to grab for. So, all right.
Yeah, I think like in just the regular, it doesn't have the same stigma as it used to. Not at all. No. And especially if you're a male, it doesn't have that same. Yeah. It's almost expected. It's like, oh, well, who doesn't have one? Right. Right. But women will definitely catch it. Yeah. On that end. But if you ever want to move up the ladder, sheesh, better wipe all that stuff clean.
And hope is wiped. And somebody like, I'm gonna just hold on to this just in case this person gets famous, and I'm gonna be like, hello. If you don't want to see this across the news, you might want to send me something in my cash app.
Yeah.
I'm just not here for it. So I don't know. But anyway, it's been real, folks. A great time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking out and hanging out. It's always a pleasure. Thank you guys for just the numbers from last week were really great. So I am just going to even just leave this be. I'm not even gonna worry about YouTube at this point because
I don't think we were too bad.
No,
we were talking too hard.
And I go for my second shot on Tuesday, so keep me in your prayers. Actually, the 18th, so I think that's next Tuesday. It might be this Tuesday. Well, whenever. The 18th is when I go for the second shot. So
you'll come back all aggressive.
I know, right? Hopefully not. Let's hope not. Well, stuff had happened too, so that kind of added to it. So that's yeah. So hopefully nothing crazy happens.
Yeah, because you was kind of
yeah.
I was like, all right, I ain't taking that shit. Hell with that. I'll wait for the nasal spray.
No, it was what was going on. Oh, thanks, Jess. You have a great night too. Even
Good
though
night, Jess.
you want to act like you want to be my wife sometimes, and then sometimes, yeah, it's okay. But
only when the cash is flowing.
Right. Yeah. So other than that, like I said, guys, be on the lookout for us on the gentleman's panel. We'll be discussing some stuff, and King may not be there, so because he's doing the Chasing LA, which it is. I've never watched those shows, but I do watch this one, and it's interesting. It's different for me. Like I don't do the web series things, but it's all right. I'm getting into it. I'm picking apart the characters as far as like which one I like, leaving King out of it because I'm not trying to be biased, but it's like, yeah. I still only see the one character as somebody that I would that kind of thinks like, because I always look like if I'm watching something, it's like who thinks like me, so I can kind of be like, okay, good. Some of them I'll be like, I'm still at a loss. But Hershey,
all those shows just remind me of the Housewives franchise.
Right, yeah,
it's always the same formula.
Yeah, that's really kind of sort of where we're going with it. So that's why I was just like, well, you kind of mad at the lady for giving her critique, but we don't see anything. It's just like you just see y'all get together. Somebody's gonna have it too. Somebody's gonna fight or get verbally kind of, and they're like, okay, but what did you do?
So, like with all of these, I'm like, don't these bitches cook?
Right.
Who can afford to eat out as much as they do? God damn.
Who's always eating out? Who's always drinking out? Don't somebody come over and somebody cook and you just be like, all right, cool. We're just going to be in the house. Or
I bring my lunchbox. I bring my lunchbox. Right. God damn.
Bring a lunch bag or something. One of my friends actually, she did that. That was quite embarrassing, but that is a story. We never let her live down. Even the waiter looked like, the hell are you doing? She literally was like, can I just get something to drink? He was like, okay. But you could have just stayed your ass home. I just
for that, yeah.
I understand that, but whatever.
Yeah, but she took all the rolls off the table, didn't she?
Right. At that. Yeah. But yeah. All right, guys. That's it. I'm done. I gotta handle some stuff and get ready for tomorrow. But until next time, please moisturize.
Pump.
Yes. Yes. Thoroughly. And if you're gonna show the backside, make sure that's moisturized too. Because we don't want to see no dark dwellings.
Well, like I said, you must use lemon juice. Because it was like
oh god, it was a mess. It was a mess. But just
please, that was a hot mess.
It was a hot mess. But moisturize, and wear your mask, please. Wear your mask. Definitely. If you believe in it or you feel strongly about it, get it. If not, that's your business. But just stay safe, please, because we have to look out for each other. We cannot leave it up to the people to look out for us.
Yes, because they definitely do not have our best interest.
No, they don't. They have our best vote, but they don't have our best interest. So, until next time, America.
Good night.
Moisturize. Please do that. And until next time, peace. Later. Bye.
Good night.